Today on the podcast, we are talking about taxes, money, and everything in between. I'm gonna leave it at that because we gonna tread lightly, but we still gonna talk. Frame Money podcast starts right about now. Get your mind right. Get your mind right.
It's a frame of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Frame Money podcast. This is your boy Simbawi Nibai Jr., aka TK, along with my man Omar Williams. We call him O, and Denise Obi, we call her D Nice. Y'all say what's up to the peeps.
What's up, good people?
Hello, hello, hello.
It is another lovely Wednesday morning, and y'all know how we do. We get things started and popping right away. But before we do, it is Affirmation Wednesday, and for most of you out there that have your affirmations written down or memorized, let's get that started in and out the way, and then we'll go from there. Are you ready? Here we go. Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be an awesome day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stressless day. Today, I will conquer all things that stand in my way. Today, I'll be better than who I was yesterday. Today, I will be phenomenal. I am an overcomer. I am a dominator. I am more than a conqueror. And everything I have affirmed in this day will happen as I have said, because I am more than a conqueror. Let's get started. Now, if you haven't noticed, I kind of did an off the cuff, off the brain kind of affirmations today. Most of you out there probably have them memorized more than I do, but I actually don't have them sitting next to me. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go forth anyway. You know why? Because we got a topic to talk about today. I want to jump right in as soon as possible because, again, we're going to tread lightly, but we are going to have a conversation. So what brought about this topic was one evening, me and my wife were talking, had a conversation about the business taxes, right? And so if you guys have the video portion of that, you can see I have like my keyboard to the right of me here. I'm here in the studio, so I've been working on a project, but we'll talk about that later. So if you see something in here that you haven't seen before, it's because I've been in here working. All right. So anyway, we're having a conversation about business taxes, and there was something, and I'm not to get into all of our information, but my wife has submitted something to the IRS that they requested from us from a business tax standpoint. My wife submitted it, I believe, in November. And so about a week ago, we got something, either a phone, it was either a message left or no, we got a letter. I'm sorry, it was a letter, I believe, or email that said, hey, we haven't received this yet from you. And if we don't receive this from you, then there'll be like some sort of penalty charge against the business for XYZ. She gets on the phone and she calls and speaks to someone in the IRS. And the person she talks to, she said, oh, hold on, let me check real quick. She's like, my wife's like, hey, I sent this back in November to you guys about 6 months ago. And now we're getting this letter or phone call or email, whatever it was, about you haven't received it, and there's going to be penalty for this, and blah, 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 blah. Lady comes back on the phone. She's like, oh, we assigned someone to that. He hasn't done it yet. It's just been sitting there. Really? For 6 months, it's just been sitting there, and so-and-so has yet to do it. Not to mention, so-and-so is on vacation now. So then she says, oh, you know what? I'll just do it for you now. Do you know how long it took her to do it?
2 seconds.
10 stinking minutes or less, but it's been sitting on the desk for 6 months. And they say, oh, we never received it. This will incur penalties. Blah, 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 blah. Where am I going with this? Well, this is where I'm going with this. And Denise, I'll let you guys chime in after this. Why is it when it comes to anything from a business standpoint, of course, when it comes to taxes, also personal, right? From a business standpoint, though, anything, a bill that you owe that's coming up, and there's always the quote unquote threat of late fees, penalties, yada, yada, yada. Listen, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because that to a degree can happen in one of our entities, right? But they say, hey, it's going to incur late fees, it's going to incur some penalties, yada, yada, yada. And you got to have it in by this time. But when you owe me money, a return, a credit, or my taxes, it takes you forever to get it to me. And I got to wait until you decide to give it to me. I will digress and let my co-host have the flow. It is yours.
You can go, Denise. You go.
I was gonna say, I always think of it, and I've worked in like business, accounts receivable and accounts payable. And what I've always been taught, being working in HR and accounting for a little bit, is with businesses especially, what they want to do is slow the process of accounts payable. So if they can do those net terms and take their time in paying you out, so they can have enough time to receive an accounts receivable that money in, so they don't have to pay out right away, that's what they're gonna do. So it's all about how fast can they get money from you before they have to pay it out to X, Y, and Z. That's my take on that. I can also add to that as well with my story with the IRS right now. I paid my taxes and then I kept checking my account and saying I have a balance, I have a balance. And I'm like, I paid this back in, let's say, November, for instance. I paid it back in November and they're saying, oh, you owe money. And I'm like, no, I don't, because I know how much I paid and how much I, allocated to paying this off. So it's like, I know, like, I paid this. And I called the lady like a couple weeks ago and I said, excuse me, ma'am, I got a notice saying I'm going to incur fees again because I didn't pay. And she said, oh, you actually ended up overpaying on your account because originally the person who was supposed to do this didn't pay it on your account. So it looked like you had more than what you owed. And I said, oh, okay. So why did it take so long? They said, yeah, we're really backed up right now. And I asked her that question. I said, so why is it's almost like a threat to us if we don't pay you guys on time. But when it comes to us, like clearing our account or whatever, getting money back, why do you have to chase us down so quickly for everything? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, great talking to you. So that's my take on that is it's accounts payable and accounts receivable. They want to get that money in to cover all their costs and their overhead costs, and before they have to pay out anything else to anyone else.
I've got a rebuttal to that, but I'm gonna let O go.
Well, okay, so I've never had a real I never had a run-in like you guys with the IRS. The only run-in we've ever had was getting audited, right? Like they audited us, and
We've been there.
like and got scrutinized for every line item, and we had to prove it and whatever. But I've never heard that accounts receivable and payable before, because the only only way I can relate to what you guys are going through is like if you ever tried to pay something off, like say for example you get a car, right? You get it financed, they rush the money to you, like here, no, take it.
Right.
These are the terms. Please have it. Take the car tonight, right? Then when you go to try to pay things off, it's a million hoops you got to jump through.
Right.
I've never heard that accounts payable receivable thing, but everybody must operate that way, including the IRS. I have a
Mhm.
few other things I want to get into with that IRS thing, but I might save that because we got to tread light.
All right, so
But
all right, go ahead and hold that.
yeah,
So
let's hold that.
I
Yeah,
want to address
yeah,
Denise's thing about accounts
yeah,
receivable and accounts payable, which I
yeah.
get and I understand
I
100%.
understand it too. That's why I
I
never
get
heard it
that.
before. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
understand it.
here is my thing. So I personally get that from a business entity that is selling goods. I get
Right.
that, right? I'm not 100% on board with you saying, "Oh, it's going to take us 7 to 10 business days to pay you back."
Right.
If
Exactly.
I told you that, you'd have a problem with that, right?
Exactly.
I get it. It's business. But from an IRS standpoint,
It's not
I'm
bad.
like, everybody is paying taxes, right? Whether it's business or personal. So what you're telling me is you want to get as much money in as possible. And then once that happens, then I can get my return, which I understand. But why is it that things are just sitting there and no one's doing them for 6 months? That's my thing right there. Like, why? Like, listen, if y'all are under you don't have enough employees, I get it. Okay, through that. But y'all don't have enough employees to do what you're doing for 20 years, 30 years. I'm just saying, like, if that's the case, now you may, and I see, like, Denise says she ready to go. Let me finish real quick. I'll let you go.
No,
I'll
no,
let
you're
you
good. You're
go.
good. You're good. You're good. It's not bad. It's not bad. But I
No,
got a
no,
point to
no.
that. No,
It's
no,
just
you're good.
so I'm like, it's bothersome to me when I said something in 6 months ago, and the person that got assigned to it let it sit there for 6 months and then went on vacation. And then we call someone and they do it in 10 minutes. This could have been taken care of. That's all I'm saying. Like, we did our part, got it into you before the deadline you asked for, and it sat for 6 months because no one took responsibility to get it done. I'm just saying. Go ahead, Denise.
To add to that, I also think about, don't they see the unemployment rates and who's unemployed and when they file for unemployment? Why not just train those same people and then say, hey, let me give you a job here. Zimbabwe Nibaye filed his taxes 6 months ago, right? Let's train you
Oh,
on how to approve this, fix this, and then get him his refund or do whatever he needs to do.
mm.
Like, work
that make
together. Work
that makes
together.
sense. That
Work
makes
together.
sense. But
But
again,
nothing's ever easy.
we're going to tread lightly. We're not going to let the feds come after us. Listen, the conversation is one that everyone has. It's just that
Right, right.
we're having it on this platform. But again, we're going to tread lightly. Now, I think that idea is a good idea. At the same time, it may not necessarily make sense, meaning dollars and cents. That's what I'm saying, right? So
Yes.
go ahead, O.
I'll say this. I'm trying to tread light, but I would say this. From what I hear, from what I've heard, from what I've even experienced myself, there is it's a culture of government work,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where it's like they do what they want to do. Like it's like you got to hurry up and wait. Like, so if you go to the DMV,
Yeah.
you got to deal with it. You got to
Yeah.
sit there and wait. Or if you go to anywhere like city building or anywhere like
A bureau. Yeah.
a bureau,
Yep.
Right. Courthouse.
it's the urgency for me is high and the urgency for them is not as high,
Right. Extremely low.
right? Like we had a situation where something happened with our house and we had to hurry up because like it was some kind of like money was being held up and we like our urgency was on 10 and the person we were dealing with was like, yeah, it's almost it's almost time for me to leave. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I just need you to give us a paper.
Oh,
Just print a paper and send it to us. That's it. And so it's the same. So I don't know, man. I just feel like I don't know, man. Again, I'm trying to treading light because I don't want to. That's not everybody.
Right.
That's not all. Because I know plenty of people, but it's.
Well, let's put
Yeah,
one thing out there. Like
I don't want
there
to do
there
that.
there are very likely, clearly, some intangibles that we don't know of. Right.
Right.
So let's just put that out there, and let's
Right.
also put out there we are not here to have a IRS bashing. Okay.
Not bad. Not at
We're
all.
simply having a
We're
conversation
not.
about tread lightly. Tread
No,
lightly. All right.
no, we're not. No, playing.
Tread lightly. All right. We don't want to get canceled. Okay. We are simply having a conversation that people probably have every tax season,
Right.
but just don't talk about it on a platform like this because of whatever. And again, we're treading lightly. Again, don't get me wrong. I appreciate what the IRS does. I appreciate that as a business and the tax professional that we have doing our taxes, that we are getting the benefits of what a business can get when it comes to taxes. But we also are making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do so that we don't have to, number one, get audited. Number two, have them say, hey, so what you guys are doing is not legal and you're going to have to cease and desist or something like that, right? So we're definitely doing our part to make sure that we're staying compliant with things. I will go back to O's point earlier that we actually got audited 2 years in a row. I believe it was 2017, 2018. Thankfully enough, we had every receipt we had ever used and were able to verify everything that we had and that we filed for. So if you're listening out there and you have a business, write this down. Keep every receipt from every year of business you do. And don't ever throw it away. Ever. Because you never know when they're going to say, hey, we're going to audit you from 2015. It's 2025. You're going to need them receipts. Trust me. So don't throw them out. Keep them. File them. Whatever you got to do, keep them. That's just a little piece of advice for people out there that have a business, whether it's a small one, big one, large one, whatever. Just saying. Keep them. All right. Next thing I'll say is this. I'm not sure if there is a shortage of employees who are working with the IRS or not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a lack of training or whatever it may be. Like O said, the urgency for them is to get, not to give.
Not to
right?
give.
Not to give. So it's like, hey, we need your money now, so then we can do what we got to do, and then we'll give you a return. Returns can take a minute, but when you get it back, it's cool, right? So, but then don't have to owe, because then it's like, hey, well, now you owe, give, and then so it's that constant. It's on 10 for you, and for them, it's like a level 0. It's kind of like, well, we're just have to take our time and do it. That's just the way it works, right? I'm not saying that we have to agree with that, but my only snafu with that is that when I've done my part to get you what you've asked for and send it to you on time, not before time, and 6 months go by, and the person you have assigned to this has not done it yet, and then they go on vacation, and the person on the phone does it in 10 minutes or less, I'm sorry. That's a problem. Okay? That's a problem. Now, again, don't know all the intangibles, but I think that that's something I believe that could have been worked out and taken care of before that. Go ahead, Denise.
So then I have a question. So then it must be, well, not a question, more of a statement. So then it must be easy to like work for the IRS, or it's hard for you to get fired because you can kind of just do whatever you want.
Ooh.
Because at my job, for instance, if Zimbabwe gives me an assignment and I know I'm going on vacation, Somebody's like that assignment better be done before you go on vacation. If it's not, then either you're gonna have to take another day or move the vacation out or get this done or work late. So that's where I pose the question: is it hard to get fired in the IRS?
Or possibly,
It
if
is.
need be, get it reassigned
Right.
someone,
Or
right?
yeah, train somebody else. Yeah.
I think a lot of them type of jobs are hard to get like fired from.
Right.
Like it's a whole ordeal to get somebody out of a government position. Like it's just not going to be he did something wrong, he got to go. It's a whole
Right.
it's a process, and I think people know that. It's like I'm giving you my 8 hours and I'm going home. I'm not doing no more, no less.
Right.
They're
right.
not gonna get rid. It's gonna take forever to get rid of me. You know what I mean? And I just think, and again, it's not all of them. It's always a couple bad apples. It's not
Right.
everybody. I don't want to make it
True.
like
True.
that's the thing, but a few bad apples. Something that takes 10 minutes should never sit on. Like you go to any other company or just say a private company, something that took 10 minutes to do and you took 6 months to do it, you may be in somebody's office talking about you better ship up or shape out.
Wait,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? And I don't think it's that simple. Like Denise said, it has to be some kind of a reason, which it may be hard to get fired.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It may be hard to get the job, but once you get it, it's hard to get out. You know, it's hard to get kicked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think too that those are again those intangibles we don't know about. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we don't know what that looks like and what all that entails.
Right.
Because listen, like, you know, my wife, she's a teacher.
Right.
So it is very hard.
It's hard. Yep.
To get rid of a teacher.
Yep.
They're a government employee.
Yep.
It's very hard. So I get it. And once again, you know, it's again not bashing the IRS at all, just addressing an issue that I'm pretty sure a multitude of us have had at one time or another, or one shape or one form or shape or another, right? Something you've had that's had, you know, like what O said, he had to deal with something down at the DMV. Like that's a government organization, you know, or not the DMV, but with your house, right?
It was I had to go to the
So,
city.
you know, and that's like, they're like, hurry up, get it in. Then when they got it in, they're kind of like, all right, thank you. Okay, we'll get back to you in 4 or 5 weeks. Well, what's the paper we need? Oh, well, we'll get that to you. So can you print it out? Well,
yeah.
you ever seen that commercial where the lady is sitting at the desk and she's watching the clock at her job?
That's it.
And the phone rings at 4:59.
That's it.
And she waits till 5 o'clock hit, and she's like, "Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
leaving."
That's it.
I've
That's
done
it.
that many times.
That's it.
I'm just saying, you know,
That's it.
it's kind of like, yeah, like that
That's
phone
it.
call might take a half an hour. I ain't got that kind of time right now.
Brother, that's
You
it.
know? So, you know, or, you know, it's lunchtime. It's like, oh, my lunchtime is I got to come back in an hour and do, or half an hour, however long your lunch hour is, right? I get it. Like you punching the clock. I'm in at 9, I'm out at 5. That's it. You get
Right.
nothing more, nothing less.
Unless, right.
I understand it. I
get
get it.
too. I used to do that.
And again, too, they're also like there's a lot when it comes to taxes and IRS. And I know that, listen, if there's a shortage in staff or employees or people are overwhelmed, I get it can take a month or two. I get that. 6 months, I think, is pushing it, but it could happen. It could happen. But in this case, it just was it just brought to my mind, why does this happen? And why is it allowed to happen? That's all I kind of wanted to bring to the table of the conversation. That's all. So, you know, what are you guys' thoughts out there in podcast land? What do you guys think? Are we on point? Are we off? You know, are we in the vicinity? Are we being a little too harsh? I think that we tread it lightly on this, and I think that rightfully so, because again, you don't want to wake up any giants, you know what I mean? You don't want to, you know, awake any bears. But I think it's clear, very clear, the IRS, like, they're aware of this. You know, unlike Denise, when you talked to the lady, you asked her, well, why does this happen? And she straight was like, I don't know. Now, she might have known this was like, you know what, if I give you the answer, you're probably not going to like it. Or she actually really
You might not
did
have
not
known.
She
know.
might know. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was like.
Right.
You know?
All right.
She's like, look, I got a job to do. That's all I know. I'm doing my job. That's it.
Yep.
I'm not doing their job, his job, or her job, or anybody above me. It's my job to make this phone call, and that's all I know to do. And I can't get mad at you for that. So thank you for doing your job and calling me and letting me know that you're in a rush to get my money, but you're not in a rush to get my money back to me. Thank you. So, any last words before we go?
Yes. Last thing.
Tread
What's with
lightly,
that?
please. Tread
I
lightly.
am. No, it's not bad. Nothing bad. What is with the attitudes at the DMV too, but in the IRS? It's like when I call to ask for help, especially about something, why do I have to receive an attitude from the person over the phone? Like, I'm just asking, hey, did I get this in on time? What do I have to do? I'm very calm, cool, calm, and collective. And it's almost like I'm fighting for my money, or I'm fighting to make sure I'm good so I don't get put in handcuffs in like 2 weeks if taxes are due. Like, I'm just trying to make everything straight. It's like, what's with the attitude?
I
That's my question.
I can give you that answer. Oh,
Yes.
if you have something to say too.
You want me? Yeah, I'll go after you.
So one of my answers is, number one, you're probably the 1,000th person that's called that day.
You took my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Okay.
I am tired of getting these calls
Yeah.
every 10 minutes
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
hour. And so they're like, and listen, there are people out there that they can zen out and be like, hey man, I can get 1 million calls. I'm gonna have the same attitude. I'm gonna have the same tone. I got my points right here. So whenever you answer, I'm like, well, my answer is gonna be, well, ma'am, if you have blah, 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 blah. And it's like, they're not bothered. And there's those, by the time they hit 1,000, they are highly bothered. And unfortunately, Denise Obi was the 1,000th person that called. And so Denise Obi go and get that attitude when you call. That's probably the number one answer I can give you.
Yeah.
If you got anything else?
You took my exact point. I said I was going to take the positive side. After about 1,000 calls, it's like, and then if you play the 80-20 rule, you might have 80 good people, 80% good people, 20%
20%
rough.
Yeah.
And that's out of 1,000 calls, that's 200. 200 bad calls in an 8-hour day. And then here you go trying to rush me. Ma'am, you have to wait. You know what I'm saying? Don't make it right to me. It don't make it right to me.
I know.
Trust me, I'm on your side. But
yeah,
I get it. But I don't. But I understand.
Right. Me too. And I understand.
I understand. But no. You got a job to do. I need my paperwork. Give it to me. Go give me my money back.
I understand too, because for me, I most time, I won't say always, because I most times try to ask questions and make statements in a pleasant way, even if I'm upset. Because I know I'm like, whatever energy I give, I'm gonna get that energy back.
Yes, sir.
Right back.
So I'm like, let me be cool, calm, and collective, and asking my questions, making my statements. Well, ma'am, well, sir, well, thank you. But I also want to understand why this is happening, because rather than me getting in the attitude mode, because then, number one, depending on that person that's got that 1,000th call, they might decide, okay, you want to play. Let's play. You know? And now you're getting nowhere. Because now they're like, okay, I'm just going to jack your whole day up because I can. That's why. So, it's all about, and listen, you can give the nicest attitude to that person, but if they have just lost it for that day, they still may act the same way. But I'm like, you know what? I get it, ma'am. I get it, sir. I appreciate it. Is there anyone else I could possibly talk to? So that way I don't keep getting this attitude from you. I'm not going to say that, but in my mind, I'm like, can I talk to somebody else who hasn't had the 1,000th call and they're just done, right? So anything else you want to add, on your last word?
A soft answer turns away wrath. So that's it.
Hey.
We'll end with that scripture.
There you go. I have nothing else. I just, you
I
know,
got that, dude.
I guess I feel better now that I got that off my chest, so I'm good. All right. Anyway.
This was a good one. This is a good one.
So, hopefully we tread it lightly enough. Feds,
everybody check us in.
IRS. Yeah, we good.
Okay, that's good. We got them in, so we got
So
them in
listen,
before the show.
yeah. So don't you ain't gotta come after us. We all good. We all filed. Business and personal. We all filed. We good. We good.
There we go.
So we appreciate y'all, IRS and all the feds out there. We thank you
Sure
for what
do.
you do.
Yes, sir.
You know, listen, nobody's perfect. Nobody ever will be. For the years that y'all didn't give us any heartache, I thank you. For the years that you may give me heartache, I thank you, even though I may not like it, but we're going to take it, and we're going to take it on the chin and keep on moving, because that's just part of life, and that's what life is. So, cool beans. Well, for all of you out there, continue to think it, speak it, and achieve it. And for all of us here at the Family Mind Inc. podcast, Denise, and myself, we'll see you next time, and we'll holla. Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time.
It's the frame of mind. It's what you say and what you do.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers.